Okay, good morning, everyone. Let's get started. Okay, Friday's session in the U.S., we got a nice move higher, really after reports were confirmed that there was a extension on the Greek bailout terms for about another 4 months. We had to move, solidly higher. No real huge move higher. I mean, the whole time this negotiation's really been going on, markets have been managing to kind of drift higher for that period, and it's been a real kind of very nervous, not a nervous time at all. I mean, it's just been, anytime there has been any negative headlines or anything that's come out, the pullbacks have been very, very benign. I think, it's one of those situations where the market just knew that they were going to work something out. So bottom line is we did get a push higher. We did get a kind of a breakout out of that recent consolidation in the U.S., and there are a lot of markets that are moving higher around the globe. So we'll have to, we're going to go through some of those charts in just a little bit and take a look at some of those. But bottom line is we're definitely starting to break out in some of these markets. Whether or not it's, because of the Greek Eurozone resolution, it's a whole different story. All right, moving on into Asia, where we had been closed pretty much everywhere on the back of the Chinese New Year story. Hang Seng was open again today. Shanghai was closed again for the Lunar New Year holiday. But the most of the markets actually traded significantly better. The Hang Seng basically trading flat on the session. The Nikkei, surprisingly enough, the yen managed to kind of hold around very close to the levels where it was on Friday after the Japanese central bank came out and said that they were, they weren't going to throw any more stimulus at policy or throw any more stimulus at the market because the yen is kind of weak enough and they're happy with it at these levels. Managed to kind of flatline there, which I thought was kind of a good result for it. We did see Australia was traded better on the session, although miners were maybe a little bit of a laggard there. And then, like we said, China was closed. So not a whole lot of leadership there again. If you see here the charts of interest, found a cool chart over the weekend on Business Insider showing the net speculative long position on the U.S. dollar, and it is obviously without question at a huge record here. I think that this is anytime you have one side of the boat this heavy with a trade, you can be put into a very, very dangerous position. So, I think you've got to keep an eye out for the potential unwind for this. I think one thing that is potentially sitting over this trade is that one of the biggest parts of this trade, this dollar trade, has been the sell-off in the emerging market currencies and the rally in the U.S. dollar. And so if you do see this trade start to unwind, there's probably a really good chance you could start to see some really, some big emerging market currency strength. So I wouldn't be surprised if the rand actually strengthened really hard if you started to see a little bit of this unwind in the long on the U.S. dollar. I mean, you got to keep in mind here that this U.S. dollar has been this overbought for the last couple of months, and it's continued to move higher. But it's going to be real difficult for it, and you can really feel as of late the pace of ascent in the dollar has really slowed down, and I think it's going to be hard for it to continue going forward without some sort of new information. All right, this morning we had tons of earnings out. Most importantly, AngloGold Ashanti and Nedbank. AngloGold looks like a miss in terms of consensus expectations on earnings out of the Bloomberg consensus. If you look at the revenue consensus, it's better on the revenue side. What looked really good out of these numbers is the all-in sustaining costs, which were down 13% year over year, down to $1,026. So that's, I think, really, really important. I think the production was a little bit better as well. So all in all, I don't think this is necessarily a bad number. Nedbank looks, it definitely looks better across the board. You can see there on the headline earnings per share number looking better. Divi looking better. Revenue, I think, also better. So across the board, definitely looking like good numbers out of Nedbank. We'll probably see a push higher out of them, as well as maybe some of the other stocks in the banking sector this morning. Then in just a few moments, we're going to have Sun International. It's going to come out with earnings as well. If you guys want to jot some of those figures down, we also have Super Group coming out throughout the day, and BHP Billiton is going to come out with its first half numbers only late tonight ahead of the Australian Open. All right. Let's get into the market data today. We've got IFO business climate numbers out of Germany at 11. We've got Chicago Fed activity index in the States, as well as existing home sales and Dallas Fed manufacturing activity. Okay, let's get into the maps real quick. Okay, Bidvest just came out with a headline here. Offer by Bidvest to buy up to 100% of ACOC. All right, first thing that we're going to look at this morning is a FTSE 100. Now, we've been showing this chart a few times and showing kind of the big levels here. I think it depends really where you peg the level. I think the level's down here a little bit, even though we did kind of top out a touch higher. Either way, we've broken out. It doesn't matter which way you're looking at this, we've definitely broken out. I think above 6,900, you can definitely say that we're out in the clear. And this is a massive consolidation. This is going back till the beginning to mid 2013 period. And I think that this is obviously incredibly significant. You can also see, sorry about that, you can also see that we've had kind of a bit of a rising wedge here that we broke out of on Friday's session as well. I think either way you look at it, we've definitely just broken out here on the FTSE, and we've got more to come. I would actually peg the level at around 6,900. I think we've just cleared it nicely. Finally got a new closing high, multi-year closing high out of the FTSE, and probably higher levels to come. Going in tandem there on the index side, we'll look at the S&P, and I'm just going to show here. So when we broke out, to new highs a few sessions ago, you can see that we really consolidated for about 4 or 5 days. Sorry about that. That was not supposed to happen. 4 or 5 days as we broke out above to new highs. And then on Friday, obviously, we punched through nicely, kind of giving us confirmation to the upside. And we continue to be able to just make new highs on most indexes globally. If you look at our local market, you can see we're also getting very, very close. So we'll draw a little chart here from the highs to so now, I think if you look at this, we'll try to run from the closes here. We actually broke up above some sort of resistance recently, also popping up above some sort of consolidation here now, above the 47,000 level this morning. I think that we're looking at all-time highs. Let's just see here. The all-time high intraday was at 47,276. I think the all-time closing high is the very next day, which is 47,188. So those are the numbers that we have to beat. You can see it's not even a chip shot. It's basically a 0.5% move. So we could easily get those sort of moves today out of our local index. Just watch it really closely. Because if we do break out, obviously, we're probably going to start to get a lot of momentum behind the market. Okay, the next one we're going to look at Naspers. I showed this on Friday last week, and we were showing this level on the kind of flag that we've been making here. And we were showing, I think, 1650 as our level, right? Or 1640, sorry, as the level that we needed to get above. Well, we cleared that with ease on Friday, closed up north of 1660 this morning. You've got Tencent, which is up over 2.5% as we speak. So I think this thing's definitely probably got some traction. Wouldn't be surprised if we start to move back toward all-time highs in this thing rather soon. All right, next one I'm going to show is Gold Fields. So Gold Fields, remember when we showed this double top up here on Gold Fields? Sorry, let me just get this looking right. We showed this double top up here on Gold Fields, and then when we showed it as well when it dropped $60, and that was kind of really the writing in the sand. We talked about that we were going to probably come back here and fill the gap if we dropped 60, which we did. It kills me because I was in this trade. I just didn't hold on to it long enough. But this is a beautiful gap fill. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we also kind of from top to bottom. We're hitting big fib retracement levels around that level. That's over 50% fib retracement level. So I think that we've had a huge correction in like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. I mean, we've probably had a 20% correction in Goldfield. So I think it's done a lot over the short term. Maybe enough. There's definitely a little bit of support around the level where we are. So, maybe a time to take profit on that if you got over a short there. And then the last one that I want to have a look at here is Sibanye. So we showed this level again also I think on Friday. This level is right here. It's about 29.70. It's exactly where we closed on Friday, 29.70, 29.80. Except for the difference is that the share got hammered in the States after hours. We closed at an equivalent of 28.97 in the U.S. on Friday. So I think we'll probably see a little bit lower. For some reason, this thing's trading a lot better in the South African session than it is in the U.S. session every day. But if we drop here, and I would expect us to drop today, I would think that we're going to make a quick 3 rand move to the downside out of Sibanye, maybe take us down closer to $27, and before looking to take any profit if you're getting into a short there. And that's it for today, guys. Good luck out there.